Good morning, Angie. It's so nice to see you this morning.
Oh,
It's early here in Connecticut and Michigan, but I thought it would be nice to get together and talk a little bit about accountability groups or masterminds. Some people call them board of directors, but they're all kind of the same thing. People get together in person or on a Zoom meeting and become a team for each other. They um, so it's nice to have that time together. It's usually once every 2 weeks. Some groups meet every week or so. Can be in person or on Zoom. And so anyway, that's one of the things I do. And so I thought it would be nice to talk a little bit about that.
yes,
Uh,
absolutely. I'm excited.
yeah, me too. So anyway, one of the reasons to join a mastermind group, one of the main reasons, is accountability. And as I move into this sphere, I think there is another way to say that, but which means responsibility. That that the mastermind group helps you be responsible for your own actions. So accountability, but that responsibility still rests with you, not really with the team. So, and you and I work on that a lot, actually, and you're really good at that. So, but it's hard to get things done that you need to do all by yourself, whether you call it responsibility or accountability. And as a member of a mastermind, you make a promise to the group at the end of each meeting about what you'll do by the next meeting. And knowing that the group is going to be calling on you, it still gives you motivation to get it done because it's the hard stuff that makes it all good. And the hard stuff is the first to go really without accountability. That makes sense?
It does. And I've been part of other like mastermind groups or accountability groups. And what it helped me accomplish is it really surprised me because it wasn't that I had to take like big, big, massive actions, each time. It really broke it down into manageable like tasks and things to keep me moving forward. So like I felt like I was always taking small steps, but when I turned around and looked back, I'm like, what? I did all of that? Oh my gosh. So
I think,
accountability is huge.
yes, it is. And I think that's a perfect way to look at it. Uh, it's looking at where you've come. Rather, you need the goal, you need the steps and all of that. The goal is the guiding light, but the steps are really what make a difference. Small steps being done consistently are what make the whole experience really important and
Right.
helpful.
Oh, absolutely. It's the reason why we need personal trainers. Like we know we're supposed to go to the gym, we know we're supposed to work out, but without having that path, that accountability, somebody that we have to not answer to, but show up for, you
Yes,
know, it's it's helping you as much as it's helping like the other people in your group because they're showing up for you, and so you need to show up for them as well and help hold them accountable as well too.
exactly. So it's a big part of this, and one of the main things that people join for. I know that's how I joined my group and
Mhm.
started my group. And we're going to start a new one soon, which is why this conversation is so important because we're going to open up the chance for other people to join.
Yes.
And particularly, I don't know, I guess we've talked about it, uh, but people who are in the performing arts or are um, or have a creative business, a creative entrepreneur, are what I think we can help with and be kind of unique too, because there are not a lot of groups like that for those people.
Right. Well, and another thing, just having people who are in like a similar situation and like hearing how they were able to keep moving forward, helping each other with things like that. And you know, the accountability really helps with all of that, you know, because it is hard. And, you know, we know that with the like a journey of transformation, it's not easy. And, you know, just the moment we want to just quit and, you know, turn to the next shiny object, that's where we really need that group and that accountability the most.
For sure. That's where I get a lot out of it too. So that's another reason, and I think that I asked my group this week what was one of the things that are important to them, accountability, but we become a team. We are valued for who we are. We're valued for our knowledge. We get to help each other, and that's really kind of an important thing as well. To be valued and know that other people can count on you and you can count on them.
Absolutely.
So cool. I'm excited.
Yes.
Another thing that we talk about and is learning how we can. Another thing you can talk about is learning how to run a successful business. If you're a performing artist or you're a creative entrepreneur, particularly for an artist, running your career is a business. Mm-hmm. I know that my friends who are performers don't think it like that. Well, I'm a performer. I'm an actor. I'm a singer. But it's a business whether you call it that or not. And that involves mastering specific systems and processes and tasks and tactics. And yes, accountability and resources you have in place for something actually to get done.
Absolutely. Unfortunately, when we decide to start a business, nobody teaches us how to do it. It doesn't come with a manual. Like, here's step one, here's step two, here's step three. So whether you look at what you do as a business or not, like you're great at like what skill you do, but like that doesn't always translate into like how to run a business. And so being part of like masterminds can really help learn from each other, what they did, what they didn't do. And even though you might be first starting off and you don't feel like you have anything that you can add, you'd be surprised because one, you can come with new ideas. You haven't made any of those mistakes yet. So you might look at things from a slightly different perspective. And again, you might know more than you realize or can help somebody else that is more established in something that you're further down the line in than they are. So it's a great two-way street.
It is. And, it helps you. Being a part of a group like this helps you gain those essentials. So being a part of a mastermind group helps you learn the essential skills that nobody else teaches you. Yes, there are places you can read books and you can do all that, but having a group who's been through it together or going through it together is what really makes a difference.
Oh, absolutely.
Sales, marketing, systems, building a team, all of those things are really important to run a successful business. As our friend Mike Makalowicz says, the business, well, I'm going to cut that out. So skilled sales, you have access to our profit first. experience, and we can run through a profit first implementation as part of the group. That's important. So that your business is sustainably profitable, it's healthy, and it can support you and your family by paying your taxes and doing all the stuff that Profit First talks about. So that's another reason to join a mastermind group. Yes, you can learn all that stuff online and other places, but you will learn it faster and more correctly if you're in a group who knows how to do it already.
Right.
That makes sense? Yeah.
Absolutely.
So good. I know that people in our group too talk about confidentiality and how important that is. What people stay in the group and do in the group stays in the group. So it's a safe place to share problems and opportunities, gains, and places where we were still kind of trapped in that awful place between how do I get done what I need to do and reaching that goal and all of that stuff. So it's nice. People who are going to join our new group, we're all going to sign confidentiality agreements so that we know what stays in the group or what's said in the group stays in the group. Yeah. Have you had experience with that? And
I don't think I've experienced that in some of the other masterminds that I've been in. Like it wasn't, I think it was like assumed that there was that confidentiality, and it was said, but I don't think anybody went as far as to say, no, this is how seriously we take this. We are all signing this agreement that we all commit to the confidentiality and creating this safe space so that we can all share and learn and grow together without fear of, oh no, if I say something, it's going to get out about this or that. That doesn't help anybody, because then you're going to be reserved. You're not going to share. You're not going to be participating the way you should. So just having that document, be like, no, this is how seriously we take this. This is a safe space. I think that goes a long way.
Yeah, it is. We talk about we're constructive in our talking about each other and how to make things better. But it's hard to say in front of a group, my business is not going well. I need help with this.
Right.
And once you become that team and friends and support each other and know that it's okay to be who you are and where you are, and it's going to stay in the group, that's why that's so important.
Oh, absolutely. It's hard to be vulnerable. And, it's I don't want to say easy to play a part, but sometimes it's easier to like put on this happy face that business is going well when it actually isn't going as well as we would like it to be. It's not that it's necessarily like doing bad, but it's not doing as good as we want it to be. So it can be hard to be vulnerable, especially when we dive into financials, because I mean, those financial statements, they're not the easiest thing to understand if you're not like an accountant or bookkeeper, somebody in that finance space or, that money numbers space. So it's hard to admit that I don't know what this means. I need help. It's hard to be vulnerable.
And it's hard to dig into the stuff that you don't want to learn.
Right.
Lots of entrepreneurs, and I must admit myself included, the books could be a lot better than they are. And it's something I don't like to do. Mm-hmm. So you need to build your team. You need to have a bookkeeper. You need to keep your books in order. Mm-hmm. You need to make a profit and all that stuff that we know how to do and profit first. So once you get that framework, that foundation built, safe and in compliance with taxes and all of that, we can help you with that. But then then you can move on either to get a bookkeeper or to learn how to do it yourself the right way. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah.
I have a bookkeeper friend who says never let your friends do their own bookkeeping. And that's true.
It is true. It puts a different tension maybe on the relationship.
Yeah. And especially this time of year,
Mhm.
when we have to get all the books together, because
Right.
taxes are going to be coming up
Right.
in a few short months. So, yeah. All right. So confidentiality, running a successful business. And focus. Hot seat. I still don't know whether to call it a focus time or a hot seat time. But a hot seat, because that's the usual lingo,
Right.
is time for one person in the group, and it's usually, if it's an hour and a half or 5 meeting with 4 or 5 people in the group, it helps you talk about one specific thing that you want to get done this meeting, and your problems too. But so, do you want to make a decision? Do you want to have help with some problem that you're working on, or whatever else you want to talk about? And you get 20 minutes, which is a good time to talk about exactly what's going on, what you've tried, what's working, what's not working so well.
Right.
And then the group can comes up with ideas to say, oh, okay. And we've talked about this a little bit earlier too. I've been through that.
Mhm.
We tried this and this. You might look at some of the things that we've done, or you might be given or being asked to be responsible for getting one specific thing done that will help that problem that you talked about. And that is a good outcome. 20 minutes of talking, and then you have something to work on for the next meeting, and you can bring it in and say, okay, here's what I did, here's the progress I've made, and it was a good week, or the problem's still there. Maybe we can figure out a way to make the problem go away for good. So that focus time is important.
Right. I'm not sure if, I mean, outside of having like office hours or like Q&A in other groups I've been in, I don't know if I've had that opportunity in some of the other masterminds that I've been in to have like that chance for me to come to the group and say, all right, here's where I'm struggling. Here's my problem. Can you give me more direction? And having that time to like really dive in. It's not like I'm posting the question somewhere and hoping people respond.
Right.
It's that dedicated time like that you were talking about, where we can really dive in together and brainstorm and bounce ideas off of each other, because it's surprising how one idea can like trigger a different idea. And going back and forth in that brainstorming session, like where you start and where you finish, it's like, what? I never would have gotten there on my own. It would have taken me years to like get to that point. And oh my gosh, in this one like focus session where I was able to like be in that hot seat, that spotlight, and really have everyone help me dive in. Wow. Like the
Yeah.
clarity and the progress from that is exciting.
It is. It's amazing. We looked back in a meeting recently uh, to say, okay, where were you 3 months ago even, and what have you done now? How much further along are you? The guy had started a new business. He has got his email list working and figuring out how to mine it for new prospects. He started new webinars. he's got people signed up for them. And there was a whole list of other things that he accomplished in the last 3 months. And we looked at it together and said, wow, look what you have done. Look how far you've come in these 3 months.
Right.
And it was an eye-opening thing to be able to sit down and do that.
Oh, absolutely. And especially being part of a group like this, so many times we let other things come up and interrupt our time and take our time. But when we have that commitment to show up for not just ourselves, but for everybody else in the group, to be there to help them as well, it's that appointment we're setting,
Yeah.
for ourselves, where no, this time is protected. It is my time to work on my business and help move forward. Because again, kind of pulling back into that accountability, if we don't make that time, the time isn't just going to magically show up. Something else will always come up that we'll want to work on instead.
Yeah. Let's do one other thing, and then I think our time this morning is going to come to an end. But that's mindset.
Okay.
Being surrounded by peers with a growth mindset helps you to stay in that growth mindset too. So instead of thinking I can't, you can think, well, I need to learn how to do it, and who can help me do that? So you're surrounded by people who may know how to do the exact thing that's troubling you. And if we don't know ourselves, we can often find the people who do. So it helps us stay in the growth mindset and stop comparing ourselves to others or to how close you are to reaching one of your goals and seeing how bad things are and you don't look at it the right way. But staying in that mindset of I have accomplished this much, and that is helping me and it's helping each other too. So.
Oh, absolutely. The help with the mindset, that shift from I can't to how can I is huge. And just that slight change in perspective really opens up your mind to the possibilities and being receptive of ideas. It's surprising how much it impacts us, like physically, emotionally, but also our business. If we think that we can't do something, we won't be able to. But if we just shift that into how can I, then we're looking for solutions.
Yeah. Yeah.
And having those people, absolutely. And having a group that you can go to ask that, okay, I'm not able to do this right now. How can I get to this point? How can I take my business here? Because there are other people that may have already done that and they can share like their own experience of how they were able to or what steps they took.
Exactly. And how can I, and then who can help you?
Yes.
Who can I go to that can help make this happen? And that's just as important as knowing the how can I.
Yes. Yes. Absolutely.
That changes the whole mindset.
Yeah. Absolutely. Oh, yeah. When you know like who can help you get there, that takes it then to that next level and really makes it more of a reality.
Yeah, for sure. Well, Angie, thank you for